Breaking news, Cristiano Ronaldo has signed for Saudi side Al Nassr.
In today's world, the line between politics and sports isn't just blurred, it's been bought. Over the last few years, one name has quietly taken over headlines across multiple sports: Saudi Arabia. They signed Cristiano Ronaldo to a $200 million contract. They built a rival golf league from scratch and forced the PGA to merge with it. They now host Formula One races. They've locked down the 2034 World Cup. They've even dipped into esports, boxing, and pro wrestling. That's right. Even WWE has a long-standing partnership with Saudi Arabia, hosting massive premium live events in Riyadh since 2018. The shows are promoted as global spectacles, with huge payouts and controversial booking decisions that have sparked backlash from fans and wrestlers alike. These aren't just power moves for the love of the game. This is something else. Something bigger. Something more calculated. It's called sports washing, and Saudi Arabia may be executing the most aggressive campaign the world has ever seen. What does that actually mean? How did we get here? And why does it matter? Let's break it down. Sports washing is when a government or regime uses sports, whether through hosting events, investing in teams, or signing global stars, to clean up its public image. It's not new, but the scale is growing. In 1936, Adolf Hitler used the Berlin Olympics to showcase Nazi Germany as strong, organized, and peaceful, just 3 years before World War II began. In 2008, China hosted the Beijing Olympics under the slogan "One World, One Dream." But behind the fireworks and spectacle were reports of crackdowns in Tibet, internet censorship, and mass surveillance. In 2018, Russia used the FIFA World Cup to soften its image after years of international condemnation over Crimea, Syria, and state-sponsored doping. Sports washing isn't just a PR strategy. It's a geopolitical tool. It turns athletes into ambassadors, events into distractions, and stadiums into smokescreens. And now, Saudi Arabia is doing it louder, faster, and with more money than anyone before. They're not just hosting, they're owning, and the world is watching. Saudi Arabia's strategy is simple: invest big, move fast, and don't apologize. They started with football, the world's game. In late 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo signed with Al Nassr for a reported $200 million per year. The news broke global headlines, and it wasn't a one-off. Shortly after, Neymar signed with Al Hilal. Karim Benzema went to Al Ittihad. N'Golo Kante joined him. Roberto Firmino, Riyad Mahrez, Jordan Henderson, all jumped from Europe to Saudi Arabia. These weren't just transfers, they were statements. The Saudi Pro League, once seen as a retirement league, transformed into a global force almost overnight. Entire clubs are now bankrolled by the country's Public Investment Fund, or PIF, which controls over $700 billion in assets. With that kind of capital, even elite European clubs are struggling to compete. The league expanded broadcast deals across Asia, Africa, and even North America. Stadiums were upgraded, new ones were built, coaches were imported, and the government declared its ambition to make the Saudi Pro League one of the top 10 in the world by 2030. Then came golf. In 2021, the PIF launched LIV Golf, a rival tour offering astronomical appearance fees and guaranteed purses. Some events offered $25 million in prize money, nearly double that of traditional PGA events. Phil Mickelson reportedly received $200 million. Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson got similar payouts. The PGA tried to ban these players. Lawsuits flew, and then, shockingly, the PGA and LIV agreed to merge in 2023. The result? Saudi Arabia now has partial control over the future of global golf. Boxing followed suit. Fights like Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz II, Tyson Fury versus Ngannou, and Oleksandr Usyk's defenses have been staged in Riyadh with record-setting purses. Promoters now openly say the biggest fights won't happen unless Saudi Arabia is involved. Esports wasn't left out. The PIF purchased major stakes in ESL and Faceit, two of the world's largest esports organizers. Riyadh now hosts the annual Gamers 8 festival with over $45 million in prize pools, the largest in esports history. And yes, WWE. In 2018, WWE inked a 10-year partnership with Saudi Arabia worth over $500 million. Events like Crown Jewel and Super Showdown have brought stars like The Undertaker, Goldberg, and Roman Reigns to Riyadh. Despite fan criticism over propaganda, limited women's matches, and political overtones, WWE has continued expanding the partnership. Now, Saudi Arabia is set to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup, practically unopposed. Australia dropped its bid, citing unfair competition and lack of transparency. Critics say FIFA handed the bid to Saudi Arabia with zero resistance, a far cry from the scrutiny Qatar faced for 2022. This isn't a series of random deals. It's a playbook, a strategy. One goal: reshape their global image through dominance in sports. So what exactly are they trying to cover up? Let's start with the most well-known case, the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. In October 2018, Khashoggi, a columnist for The Washington Post and a prominent critic of the Saudi regime, walked into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and never came out. The CIA concluded that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered the operation. His body was dismembered. The international outcry was massive. Saudi Arabia initially denied everything, then admitted to the killing, but claimed it was a rogue operation. Few believed it. Sanctions were issued, relations were strained, but not for long. Less than 5 years later, Cristiano Ronaldo was being unveiled in Riyadh. The headlines changed, the narrative shifted, and this is how sports washing works. It doesn't erase the truth. It buries it under goals, trophies, and global applause. Beyond Khashoggi, Saudi Arabia faces serious and ongoing criticism for its domestic human rights record. Women have only recently been allowed to drive. Guardianship laws still restrict women's freedom to travel, marry, and make decisions independently. Activists like Lujan al-Hathlul were imprisoned for demanding these rights. Homosexuality remains illegal and punishable by imprisonment, flogging, or even death. Public expressions of LGBTQ+ identity are banned. Freedom of speech is nearly non-existent. Bloggers, academics, and dissidents are regularly arrested under vague anti-terror laws. A 2022 case saw a Saudi woman sentenced to 34 years in prison simply for tweeting criticism of the government. This is the reality behind the image Saudi Arabia is projecting through sports. They want to be seen as modern, progressive, and open to the world, but their internal practices tell a very different story. Here's the real danger, and it's bigger than any single sport or country. When governments use sports as a mask, fans become the product, athletes become tools, and the truth becomes collateral damage. It doesn't stop with Saudi Arabia. Qatar used the 2022 World Cup for the same purpose. China's global investments in sports are rising. Even Russia used the Sochi Olympics and 2018 World Cup as image-lifting exercises. What happens when the institutions that are supposed to represent unity, excellence, and fair play, FIFA, the IOC, the UFC, even the WWE, become mouthpieces for authoritarian regimes? The answer is, we all lose, because the games we love start standing for something else. Not passion, not competition, not community, but control. Saudi Arabia isn't just sponsoring sports, they're rewriting them. They're buying history, controlling narratives, rebranding a nation, one event at a time. And whether or not we realize it, we're letting them. Because when money speaks louder than truth, and athletes become ambassadors for something bigger than sport, the game changes. And the scoreboard we're watching, it might not be keeping track of the things that really matter. If you made it this far, you're the real ones. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives just like this. Phantom Sports is just getting started, and we've got stories coming that they don't want you to hear. Thanks for watching.